Hey, how's it going, guys? This is NatePick, and welcome back to my tech world. So today I'm going to cover a little topic, and I'm going to try to keep it a little bit short, but also something that I actually use every day. And so I know some people don't want to agree with this topic, but I think it is something that can be quite useful if you use it in the correct manner and you know kind of what to do and what to use. So, what I'm going to talk about today is floppy disk. Now, I know that some of you will laugh and joke about, oh, look, he's making a video about floppy drives, but I'm telling you that if you want to take notes, and especially if you were born in my era, like this was the main type of thing that you would get. This is the main type of drive that you would buy. It was a floppy disk, and in particular, this is a 3.5. As you get a little bit older, you probably were more familiar to, was it 5.25 or something like that? It's 5 1/4. So those type of things you would be more used to. But I actually enjoy putting all of my notes on these floppy drives. But also one of the things that you have to look at too is there is these USB floppy drives. And this one is a pocket USB drive. Very simple, very easy to get. And so you can get these. I paid 99 cents for this. You can get these relatively cheap. Now, the floppy disk, maybe not so much because of how they're almost completely obsolete. And I know this topic's kind of like, well, Nate, they're already kind of gone, but I get that. But at the same time, these things just work. So I want to show you something that you can use this for. Okay, so now that we are on the actual screen, I will say I may make a video about this laptop, but this is a Dell Precision. So it's like the workstation that I got from War Thunder. Thank you very much. I did install Debian 12 on it just because Debian has older NVIDIA drivers, so it works well with this particular Quadro card that's in there. But let's go ahead and open up this floppy drive real quick. And so as you see, there is a couple things that are available in this drive. Once again, I do have actually some media on here. And that's the thing that people don't take into consideration, is that the fact that you can make this work for your notes. So this is something that you can do that will allow you to physically carry your notes, physically take copies of your notes with you. And of course, yes, you have to carry your floppy disk, and yes, you would have to carry a USB floppy drive in order to read it. But this is something that is viable for your notes. Now, if you're trying to build, some kind of application, obviously a floppy drive is going to be way too small and it's not going to work. But if you're just trying to maybe have some bash scripts and you save them as a TXT file, or even if you're just trying to make some readable notes as a markdown file, this is a viable option. So as you can see, this has a couple of things. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to open this up with Micro, and I'm going to pull the terminal over to where you can see it. But yeah, so even in a terminal, I just typed out some things, and I can add some things to it. So let's say this is the second shot of this video because Nate messed up the first one, which is totally true. It's 100% true. So this is the second time of actually doing this, but I noticed too that whenever I did it before, this camera can only do so much because of the phone camera. I really wish I had a better actual camera to do it, and I have to like fiddle with the arm to make it work in order to record. But it does seem to work. I will say that it does seem to work pretty well. With that being said, you can use the floppy disk to transport these notes. Even if I had 100 lines of just notes, this is something that you can do. You can do it in Vim. You can do it in nano if you want to. I don't know why you would, because micro is just way better, which is what we're in right now. Or you could also do it in VS Code. Don't know why you do that either. I personally have Nook that I pay for because it just goes well between all my devices. And I will be the first one to tell you that it is very good. It is a very good piece of program that costs very little every month for it to sync to all my devices. I can download it as a markdown file, or I can even convert it into a text file after you do the download, and just save it onto my floppy disk. So you can do stuff like this. Now, Control Save and Control Q will actually bring you back and take you out. So it saves it first, and then Control Q quits the program. So now we're back to here. So if I were to say, just double click this, of course it's going to open up back in micro, but yeah, you can see it saved all my notes. So this is something that you can use, that you can do to take old hardware, old tech, and make it usable for your use case. I'm not saying that you have to do that. I'm not saying that you could just say, no, I want to do everything online and that's it. That's totally fine. But if you're someone like me, sometimes I feel like because we're so dependent upon the cloud that we physically lose touch of our actual progress, that having that floppy drive kind of grounds me in a way. And I know that sounds weird, but having that floppy drive kind of grounds me, saving it to a physical disk, actually having to find the disk, make sure it's the right one, and then pop it in. That helps me creatively to do what I need to do. It helps me to kind of focus on what I'm doing, and it gives new life into old tech that you may not have ever thought about of actually using. So I know that this is a shorter video, but I want y'all to understand that maybe sometimes the old way isn't just old and ancient, it has no use case. Maybe sometimes it's the best way that you can do things. So just understand, I'm not saying that you should do this. I'm saying that this is something that you could do. And let's be honest. Let's be all honest. Doing this is just stinking cool. That's all I have. Y'all have a good one. God bless. Peace.